So the doctor came in and told us that a very unfortunate thing had happened to Brooks, and that he was bleeding in his brain and that they were getting med flight ready. They were pretty much telling us that the bleed was massive and that he wasn't going to make it. It started out like a regular Sunday. It was May 8th. Actually, it was my birthday and Mother's Day that day. And went to church, went to Mother's Day brunch, and then Brooks and his nephew and our son headed out to the golf course. My husband called and said something had happened to Brooks. They didn't know what it was, but they were taking him to the hospital. Dr. Biscaya came in and told us that our son had had a massive brain bleed. And then he said 9 words that we as a family will never forget. He said, "Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, your son's only hope is a miracle. So pray." The rest told us that Brooks's bleed was too big. His reflexes were gone. He was on a machine to keep him alive, but he coughed. A cough is a life-saving, it's one of your life reflexes. And so Dr. Biscaya is like, we're going to try to Brooks was 25 or 26. He said, we're going to give him a chance to live. And so off to surgery they went, and our journey began. We had no idea what was ahead, but we knew that God had it. You know how God just sometimes talks or speaks into your heart, and he said, "Kathy, I got this. Trust me." And he said that twice, and it was clear as a bell. In a couple hours, Dr. Biscaya came back and told us that Brooks had made it through surgery. So, of course, we were praying with a lot of optimism about what the future was going to be. And finally, one of Dr. Biscaya's residents said to me, "Mrs. Robinson, you guys are not understanding this. Brooks is not going to get better. How you think? He's going to have major deficits." And she said, "I really want to show you the CAT scan or the CT so that you can understand how massive Brooks's brain bleed was." And as I sat there, again, God whispered into my heart. He said, "Kathy, I don't want you to look at the CT. I want you to have your eyes on me. Once you have a picture in your mind of the enormity of a situation, you can get focused on it, and it just pulls your eyes off God." So Eyes Up became our new banner. So we had Eyes Up signs all over the hospital. First milestone was that he made it through surgery, because nobody thought that would happen. And the second milestone was about 8 days later, he started overbreathing the ventilator. About 2 weeks after that, he held our hand for the first time. And that was a really big deal, and he never wanted to let go of our hands. When they took him off the ventilator and he received a trach, then he could, he was a little freer, still hooked up to a lot of stuff, but he could breathe on his own. Another milestone, I think, would be when he made it to rehab. I mean, there was a lot in between there. Within 6 hours of making it to rehab, which took 2.5 months, all of a sudden his stats started all falling, so we ended up right back in the ICU. Brooks's lungs were filling with blood clots, and it was all happened so fast nobody could be there with me, so I was there alone. I was hanging on the bed rails. I kissed Brooks goodbye, and I had a doctor in the doorway, and he was telling me just all these things that could go wrong, but behind me was a picture on the wall, and in my morning's devotion was about he walks with me and he talks with me along in the garden. And there was a picture of a bench in a garden on the wall. And again, he talked into my heart. He said, "I'm right here with you, child. I got you and I have your Brooks." I think that is how life is. We're going to have ups and we're going to have downs, but we can't forget Jesus is always there with us to carry us through. And that was a big part of it. Everybody prayed for us. They sent cards, and they came to the hospital all the time. They just kept us going. We watched so many people die around us. It's very hard to be in that situation, and you just don't know what God's plan is for each one of us. But I can't tell you how many times we felt like we were sinking. Our boat, our family, life around us felt very bleak, but God was always there. God knows who we are. He knows our weaknesses. He knows our struggles. He sees us in those horrible storms that life brings. And I think he expects us to keep our eyes on him and to take one baby step at a time. Sometimes all we can do is move forward. And if we mess it all up, that's why he died for us. You know what I mean? His light was lit at the cross, and it's unextinguishable. Brooks is still in therapy. The brain heals slow, but it does heal, but you have to keep going. And he's continuing to progress. And for the first time, he was able to dance at a wedding with his girlfriend. He's getting to the point now where he's ready for community and to be part of something again. We were just talking about just the different struggles that we all have with life. And just out of the blue, Brooks said, "Mom," he said, "ups and downs, but Jesus." I think that is how life is. We're going to have ups and we're going to have downs, but we can't forget who's in our boat. Life goes on. God is like so good, and he just continues to breathe new life into the family.